Yo, what up? Russ Practically here, and I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy VII. The last couple of days, I've really been able to like dive deep into the game, and I got some things I want to say about it. This is gonna just be a part, I guess, like a part one of a couple of videos I plan on doing for this game. I'm gonna do more of these parts as I progress and get to another stopping point, or say I don't know how many videos it's gonna be. It could be 2, could be 3. Probably no more than that though. I've just left the Golden Saucer. I've completed that saga. Gonna try and keep it spoiler free here. But yeah, if you want the short and sweet form of this video, this game is freaking great. Like, if you're on the fence about playing it, go play it. Like, honestly, if you're an RPG fan, Final Fantasy fan, I don't think you'll be disappointed, unless you're just like a tried and true turn-based RPG person, then, you know, you kind of might not like it. But other than that, I don't think anybody would really be disappointed about this game. But I have some notes here that I've taken as I've been playing through the game. Just some points I want to talk about. They're in not really any particular order. I'm gonna try and keep it somewhat structured in a way. Hopefully it makes sense to you guys. If it doesn't, I'm sorry. But there's quite a bit here that I've written down. So let's go ahead and get started. And I want to start with probably the best part of this game for me, and that is Cloud himself, the character. Now, it makes sense because, you know, he's one of the focal points for this game, so, you know, he kind of has to be good if the game is going to work. They built on his character / his personality from Remake. It almost seems like his personality has been turned up quite a bit from the previous game in all aspects. His straightforward, no bullshit demeanor kind of amps up a bit, especially when it comes from like other characters outside of the party. And to be honest, like a lot of those times when he's just like straight up not taking any crap from anybody and just being like focused on the mission, yo, those are some of the times that made me laugh like the hardest, like audibly.
Who ties what rose? The one and only Yuffie!
Cool.
And that's something I didn't expect from Cloud of all people. You would think I would laugh more like the stupid antics of somebody else, but no, Cloud is the one that has made me laugh the most out of anybody in this game so far.
Oh, my sweet baby girl.
What now?
Your daddy. Your silly daddy. He's gonna fail you. Oh, I can't let you go. I just can't.
Barrett, get your shit together. Marlene's barely.
Even like the other side of him that you don't get to see all that much, and when you do see it, it's very subtle. But the shell that he keeps up around himself to, you know, keep this strong soldier persona that he has going on. There are moments when that shell starts to crack, and you can like start to see a little bit of his enjoyment of what's going on around him. And like even some of his interactions with some of the other party members, you can actually start to see that he genuinely cares about those who he's around. We got shades of that in Remake, but here there's a lot more of it. And when that stuff happens, like you can't help but like, you know, smile at the screen. Or at least I can't. I can't help just like smile at the screen when you like see him crack a smile a little bit, or, you know, seeing him enjoying himself, or, you know, when he shows compassion towards somebody. I don't know. It's a feel good moment, and it makes me feel good seeing him feel good. And, you know, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I didn't cry. Okay, I promise. But while Cloud is like the highlight for me amongst all these characters, every character is great. I love all of them. Finally meeting Red. Red is cool. Red is pretty chill for the most part. He does have some crazy ass scenes, but for the most part, he's a pretty chill dude. The only thing I think is a little bit much is that he kind of always takes offense to people when they're like addressing him, because they think of him as a pet or a dog.
My apologies, sir, but I'm afraid animals are not allowed to participate.
What?
I guess the fact that they do it so much, it kind of just starts to rub me the wrong way. It's like, all right, just stop growling and calm down. Like, honestly, it's okay. And I just finally got Cait Sith, or Ketchi, however you want to pronounce it. I don't really have an opinion on him yet. I mean, besides the short time we with him, I dig how, I guess, like how the voice actor and how they've kind of like animated him, but I don't really have like a full opinion of him yet because I literally just got to him. Going into the story a bit, it's been so long since I played the original game that I'm not going to remember the story beat for beat, let alone the finer details of the story. But there are a few changes that I've noticed, some that don't really bother me like that, like Yuffie's whole introduction. That's different. It doesn't really honestly matter to me, or the way they did it didn't really bother me one way or the other. There are other choices where I'm just like, I don't really know. Like I kind of question the decision on that. There's one reveal that I'm like, the mystery of it is pretty much gone now, whereas before, if I recall correctly, like it was a pretty big mystery before you actually realize like the truth, and now like it's kind of obvious, you know, what's going on. So I didn't really care for that too much. And then there are other aspects where I just don't feel like there's enough. I haven't played through enough of the game to actually, you know, speak on them because I don't think they've fully developed into like key story element quite yet. But overall, I'm enjoying the story they're telling. I mean, if you play the original game, you know more or less what's going to happen. But it's cool to see this story realized in like full modern technology now. Getting into the game, like the actual game itself. So I started playing this on dynamic mode and I don't really know what it's doing per se. I know it's saying it adjusts to the player depending on how well you're faring, but I don't really know if I feel that, honestly. I've noticed that regular fights, like I'm taking quite a bit more damage than I probably like to, just because the enemies kind of hit pretty hard and you have to really use like everything at your disposal to take care of them efficiently. And I'm not that great of the combat system yet to do that to that level. So I'm taking quite a bit of damage in just like regular ass free roaming battles. The bosses I find aren't too challenging quite yet. I haven't really been stuck on any one of them. At most it's taken me like 2 tries to actually get through them. And that's usually because one, I'm either going into a fight and kind of just on autopilot, not really like thinking too much of what's going on the screen, or I'm just really ill prepared and I just need to like either die or restart it. But the most tries I've had off at least dying is like 2. There are a couple of times where I restarted just because I either realized that there has to be like a better way of tackling this, or I just immediately realized that I'm just not prepared for what this guy is doing right now.
The name's bitch!
Yo, who you calling a bitch? Bosses have like knocked out party members more often than not, but usually I'm able to get them back pretty quickly.
Hyper combo finish!
But that leads me to talk about the combat itself, actually. I have to say that out of everybody that I have so far, Yuffie is definitely the most fun. If you played the Integrate DLC, she plays very similar to how she played in that. She was fun in that, and she's a lot of fun here. I think even maybe more so because now you can use her in correlation with everybody else that's on the field. So it just makes it a lot more fun with her ninjutsu and her evasiveness and her blindside attacks. All that stuff is really cool to do. I say next favorite would probably definitely be Tifa. Tifa was definitely my favorite in the previous game, and she's definitely in my close second right now because she just combos people to all hell. After that would definitely be Cloud. Cloud being able to zip across the battlefield all crazy now is really, really fun to do. And he just feels powerful, as well as countering enemies is always fun to do. Next, probably say Red. I haven't quite got used to his Sentinel, I guess, character job that they kind of gave him in this game. I haven't really quite got used to that. I'm still messing around with it, but he's still a lot of fun to use. Barret would probably be after that. Actually, you know what? I'll change that. I think Aerith is a lot more fun than Barret, because Aerith has all those awards that you can set up and use. So playing with that is a lot of fun. Barret just kind of shoots and rolls. And that's Kate Sith. I haven't used him too much. Off of the little bit I have, I don't know if I like it quite that much because of having to manage the Moogle. That hasn't been the most fun to me, but I don't know, we'll see as I play more. In this game, there's a real emphasis on teamwork. You have a whole bunch of combination attacks as well as special synergy abilities. The combo attacks are very fun to pull off. There's one ability that I really like, which is with Cloud especially. There's a combo with Barret and with Red, where basically you're able to like bat or like swing bullets and whatever red is shooting out of his mouth. You're able to swing those at enemies, and especially like flying enemies. That comes really in handy because the aerial combat is still not the greatest to me. Even in the last game, it wasn't that great, but it was manageable. Here, I don't know if I'm missing something, but at least in the previous game, when you went to attack an enemy with like a grounded character, they would jump up and like try to hit them. Now they don't do that. At least in my experience, they haven't done that. Instead of being able to just run up and like jump up in the air, you have to use ability to be able to do that, or a combination attack to be able to do that. And if you don't have the character in the battle to use it, you can't. But there are other abilities that'll let you attack while grounded. So it's a give and take. The synergy abilities, which you can use after you get the synergy meter built up between two characters, those just kind of feel like a second limit break. They're cool to look at, and they give you different bonuses in battle depending on which one you pull off. They're pretty straightforward. That's all I really got to say about them. Some other things, summons are back. This time around, when you use them, they don't take the place of your other two party members. Everybody stays on the field, and then the summon is just added into the fray. But even still, I feel like they still don't feel useful, just like in the previous game. They kind of feel more of like a novelty than an actual asset. Depending on some of their abilities, like if you need a quick heal or something, or if you just need like a quick powerful attack, they can kind of be useful in that aspect. But overall, it seems like just a waste of resources in a lot of the tougher battles to try and bring them in when that ATB could be used on something better. In the end, combat is very familiar to what you played before, but it can feel overwhelming, at least at the start, because they throw a lot at you at one time and you are expected to like use this like effectively in the early game. But it doesn't take long to really get the hang of it. Combat is really fun in this game. I am never like dreading a fight in this game. I'm always looking forward to one, which is not something you can say for a lot of games, a lot of RPGs. Moving on to like the actual like world exploration. The world is really, really fun to walk around and explore. And there is a lot in this world they crafted. A person with ADHD would have major issues trying to play this game. I have major issues trying to play this game. There's always something that's pulling your attention away. You'll be moving to a certain destination, and then either a chocobo will come grab your attention to try and go fix a chocobo stop, or an owl will start hooting in your ears. You'll be sidetracked 5 to 6 times before you actually get back onto the main path that you were trying to go on. And what you were trying to do probably isn't even the main story. It was probably a side mission in the first place. So that aspect is just really, really cool, and just how natural it feels for you to let go from one end of the map to the other and every place in between. You'll definitely waste a ton of time without even realizing it. But there's a couple of things I have to ask though. Why are we doing the tower thing? Like, legit question. Why are we doing the tower thing like it's a Ubisoft game and any other open world game? It's not as egregious here because there aren't that many in a given area, but still, like, I don't know why we have to have towers to try and unlock icons on the map, besides to get you to like run around more, which we're already doing naturally anyway. Because all the icons that pop up on the map, okay, sure, you know where stuff directly is, but there's also like natural in-game, I guess, cues that'll lead you to where you need to go to find them. Like I said, the owls that'll constantly swoop in and hoot in your ear, the chocobos that'll run up and basically aggravate the hell out of you.
Sorry.
There are numerous other things too, that if you unlock the towers, they each have icons where you can just go straight there. But a lot of the time you end up finding them before you even hit the tower anyway. Because that's just how many there are and how aggressive the world pulls you in those different directions. So I don't really get why we needed that all that much. Maybe on some things that are like stationary, where they're not just like, hey, come here, and you actually have to find the shrines. There you have to actually like actively see or actively like come across it. But I feel like that's something that could have been done without. And on top of that, why are we like still shimmying along cliff ledges, going through crevices and crawling underneath small tunnels, whatever you want to call them? Are we still trying to hide loading screens? Because I don't know. I'm genuinely curious. Like, is that what we're doing? What happened to the power of the PS5? What happened to that? I'd like to know. All in all, the map is fun to go through. And it doesn't feel like every other open world game where there's a ton of crap on the map, where there are tons of things to do. Like the map is not over flooded and there's a tally of like everything that's in this area to do. And it feels very, very manageable. I will say though, the things they have you do can kind of be a mixed bag. The missions themselves, a lot of them have pretty interesting characters in them, but granted, what you're doing all the time may not be the greatest. More often than not, I've been okay with them. I think my main issue though is that a lot of the missions, and even the main story missions, they force a lot of mini games on you in this game. And there are a ton of mini games. It feels like every like 5, 10, 15 minutes, I'm being pushed to play another mini game and you have to play it. Like there's no getting out of it. Now, granted, a lot of them surprised me with how fun they were. Case in point, Queen's Blood. Queen's Blood is probably like the single most fun mini game in this game. That shit is addicting and I didn't think I was gonna like it. As soon as I saw that shit pop up, I was like, oh my God, why do we have to have a card game? But no, legit, it has become my most favorite mini game in this entire game. I look forward to when there's like new NPCs around to battle against. A lot of the challenges they came up with are actually challenging and require like actual thinking to figure out, and I've looked forward to doing those. There was a point where there was like a tournament that you have to play through, and that was a lot of fun. Like Queen's Blood, bro, I could see this becoming its own spin-off game, like a mobile game or something you download on the digital storefronts. I feel like that would do pretty well because the deck building and the strategies that are involved, which there are a lot of really, really in-depth strategy, more than you would think. They really hit on something with that. I think another one that sticks out is a lot of people are loving the piano. Piano is cool, it's fine. I'm not that great at it. I'm good enough to get A ranks, okay, but that's on like the slowest speed. I am not a top tier pianist in this game. And while I'm thinking about it, so the rhythm-based games in this game, yeah, probably the one where you have to like button press. I don't know what it is, but it feels like it's definitely not in time with the music.
That's not bad at all. I can't take my eyes off them.
And on top of that, while, you know, it's cool to have the camera zoom around the scenery all crazy and stuff, it just makes it harder for you to see what you're actually supposed to be pressing. On top of that, I'm focused on the buttons, not what's happening in, I guess, the background, although you can't really say background because it's at the forefront as well. So that whole thing was kind of not really the greatest. If anything needs to be tweaked for patches or for the future, for the next game, that's one of them. Aside from that though, a lot of the other mini games just don't really hit for me. And on top of that, like I said, you're forced to play basically all of them. And a lot of them can be pretty tough. I don't know if dynamic mode has something to do with the difficulty of these mini games, but to get the minimum score, it can be kind of tough sometimes. And don't let there be like a weapon or an accessory or materia that's on the rewards list, because getting max rank, you know, you're gonna spend some time. I definitely spent a lot more time than I want to admit. God damn it. Fuck! And to that end, they kind of start to get annoying for me because of how much time it can take to like try and not even get max rank, but just get a passing rank in general. It almost feels like this was their way of padding out the game a bit. And because of that, the golden saucer was kind of ruined for me, because at that point I was just tired of playing mini games so much, and that is mini game central. And I'll probably come back to it later, but like the first time going there, it's cool aesthetically, but overall, like I was kind of ready to just leave because I didn't want to play any more stuff. Overall, the mini games, while there are a couple of standouts, most of them don't tickle my fancy like that, and there's just a lot of them, and I feel like there's too many of them to be forcing me to play through all of them like that. Lastly, we'll get to the performance of the game. So when I started playing this game, I was switching a lot between performance mode and graphics mode, just because I really wasn't sure what I wanted to play on, because of course, you know, I want to see all the crisp detail and all the environments and the characters themselves. But 60 frames per second though. But I ultimately ended up sticking with graphical mode, because while 60 FPS is cool, the game is very, very blurry. it is not the greatest thing to look at. And it kind of sucks because with all the zipping around that the characters do in combat, it's a lot easier to keep track of all that with the 60 frames per second. The game just looks so bad that I couldn't do it. So I ended up putting it on graphics mode and playing at 30. Which is jarring at first a little bit, but you get used to it. It's just like I'm playing Remake on the PS4 since that ran at 32. It's not the worst thing in the world. Yes, it's like an action game to an extent, but it's not so action oriented that you need to be pinpoint accurate with everything because it's not, you're expected to get hit in this game. You're going to get hit. It's not like you're hardly ever going to have like a clean run unless you're just like some kind of And then also the audio mixing seemed a little weird, at least when I had my headphones on. When I had my headphones on, the background music was overpowering all the character voices. And even when I like tried to adjust it, even one notch over was like way too soft. And then when I shot it back up to the maximum, it just overpowered everybody. So there was like no real in between for that. Maybe it's just me and my equipment, who knows? And yeah, that's about all I have to say so far about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I know it probably feels like I've been like really negative on the game. To be honest, a lot of these things are just nitpicks that I noticed. It's easy to, you know, pick on things that don't tickle your fancy like that. But overall, I've been enjoying my time with the game. Like I said, I've played for like the last couple of days. Like the previous 2 days, I played, I think, a total of 16, 17 hours. So like 8 hours a day. Roughly straight. So that ought to tell you how much I'm enjoying the game. If I didn't like the game that much, I would definitely not be doing that. I took off work to play this game, okay? That's I'm using vacation time to play this game. So yeah, while there are a lot of things I could pick at, I think the package overall is amazing. All the things I listed here are not keeping me from having fun with the game. But yeah, so that's gonna do it for this part. Let me know what you thought of the game so far. I'm pretty sure you've all been playing it. I know I'm so behind everybody else. It's ridiculous. But what have you thought of the game so far? I would like to have another video out, but ultimately I'd like to get, you know, a little bit further in the game, like a good distance further from where I'm at now before I come on here and speak again. So we'll see how that works out. I appreciate you for watching all the way through if you made it this far. And if you do like this video, go ahead, like, subscribe, and share the video. Follow me on all social media. You can find links to that in the description box below. And yeah, that's gonna do it for me. I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm Russ, practically out. Later.